Hello, my name is Mari Herger. I'm a technology trend researcher and book author, and I live in the Silicon Valley. Now, the Silicon Valley is this area between San Francisco and San Jose, about 80 kilometers of distance. And it's also the space where we have companies such as Apple, Google, Facebook, Uber, or Tesla. Now, what I want to tell you a little bit is my experiences and what I see from the Silicon Valley on electric driving and autonomous driving. I have to tell you, I wrote a book 3 years ago, which is called The Last Driver's License Holder Has Already Been Born, in German, and about a year ago it came out in English, where I interviewed people where I looked at these technologies and tried to create a scenario or stories, a narrative of how this industry may develop and how it affects other industries, such as the insurance industry. Now, let's take a look at Tesla. I live 10 kilometers south of the Tesla factory. I own a Tesla, a Model 3, and been very happy with that for over a year now. And what you often hear is, well, the batteries are dangerous because when they burn, they burn. In fact, battery cars are much less likely to break into fires, turn into fires than combustion engine cars. I mean, combustion engine cars that we run with diesel or gasoline are running basically on liquid fuels that are burnable, right? So in fact, we have in Germany about 15 to 16,000 burning cars, car fires every year, and including the smoldering, cable smoldering, we come about 43,000. Now, Elon Musk, a Tesla CEO, he even said, well, if you want to commit arson, burn down a house, what is it that you're going to take with you? Is it, a can of gasoline, or is it the battery to ignite the fire? So there's no argument that battery cars, electric cars are less safe. Now, there are more features of an electric vehicle, especially Tesla, that become interesting. And I want to explain to you one, starting with the first one, that is over-the-air software updates. So Teslas do not have this complexity of hardware like a combustion engine with about 1,000 to 2,000 components, just an electric motor that has 20 components. So there's not much of maintenance here. What is actually coming on the car all the time, every 2 to 4 weeks, is a software update. So we get it over the air. I don't have to drive to a dealership or to a mechanic to get a dongle USB stick put in and the software updated. No, it's like your iPhone. You are getting a software update, download that, and then you have a number of new features. So, for example, one of the features that I got after I had bought the car was the dog mode. The dog mode means the air condition can run if I leave a dog in my car so that the car is at a comfortable 23 degrees Celsius, even in the sun. Now, I don't have a dog, but that's an interesting feature that came. Other features were that suddenly the car could accelerate faster, I had more range, there were some reserve batteries were released to availability for me. And these are little things that help you actually appreciate the car, not depreciate it. So the car becomes more valuable over the time. It is important to remember the over-the-air update because it becomes more important in a later thing. Now, each of those cars comes equipped with the so-called autopilot hardware kit. The autopilot is something that you may have heard. It is kind of a driving function that is later supposed to be a full self-driving feature. That means that the car can drive itself. I don't have to control the steering wheel anymore. I just enter the address and it drives me there. Or it comes to me wherever it is and picks me up. So every Tesla that has been built since 2016, since October 2016, comes with the autopilot hardware kit number 2, which includes 8 cameras, which includes radar, ultrasound sensors, but most importantly, also 2 AI chips. 2 chips for artificial intelligence that have the power to control the car. Now, the functionality today is not yet here, although we can drive on the highway in the lanes. We can do city driving. That's a feature that just came a few weeks ago. So it can stop at stop signs, it can stop at the red light, it can continue driving in the red light when you're driving on city streets. It recognizes other objects like cars, bicyclists, bikers, pedestrians, even dogs. This is now available. So while this feature is not yet available, Tesla is not only uploading software on your car and adding these additional features, it also downloads data. From every car, and over 1 million cars were now produced by Tesla with that hardware kit, it can download 4 GB of data at the moment every month. And that is something that it puts into its machine learning system. And in this machine learning system, it basically works on that and then uploads the data back on the car, and suddenly it drives better. It can do that much better than before. So you see the car becomes better and better and better. Now that feature is something that that in the future where it drives itself or prevents accidents and becomes safer once you use it, once you drive in autopilot mode. That has an impact on something else that Tesla just introduced. About a year ago, Tesla introduced Tesla Insurance in California. What does it mean? So when I got my car, I had an insurance with another insurance company, and I saw that and looked at it and compared that, and I realized that even with the same liabilities and fees to pay, it was 30% cheaper what Tesla had offered. Tesla insurance was 30% cheaper. So why is this the case? Insurance companies today think that Teslas are more expensive because of all the sensors. So when there's an accident and the way the car is built, it is more expensive to repair it, and therefore I have to spend more as an insurance company. But Tesla looks at it differently. They have access to the car data and over the air. I mentioned that before. So they can download the data from your car and figure out how often you use the autopilot. That means how often you use the safety feature like this, right? Or how are you driving? So you get the driving data, how reckless or how safe are you driving? And that all comes into the Tesla insurance. Now, that means they can give people an offer that's very different from what you can do. No traditional insurance company has access to driving data on those cars, right? And not even timely or later. Tesla can do that basically in a timely manner, download the data, look at how you're driving, and adjust your insurance. I tell you, I paid $1,000 before for 6 months for my Tesla Model 3, and now I'm paying about $700 in the 6 month. So here's coming disruption from a disruptor that builds cars and builds a lot of other things. You may have also seen the latest news on the Tesla market capitalization, for example. Today, as of speaking, Tesla's market capitalization is about $260 billion. This is more than Volkswagen, Daimler, BMW, Ford, and General Motors are worth together. Tesla is the most valuable car company in the world. Toyota has only about $220 billion. And that already gives you a sign of what's happening there, that there is a lot of digital business and new business models coming up from that company that are really ripping apart the industry and doing something completely different. So let's go to autonomous cars. Tesla is trying to get autonomous cars, but not yet there, trying the approach with customers. That means the cars are in customers' hands and the cars are learning all together and is distributed across the fleet. So what is autonomous driving? Autonomous driving means basically in the end that you as a passenger are not expected to be able to interfere or have to interfere to get this car out of a situation. The first company trying that really seriously going at it was Google. And they created a company called Waymo. And that is the most advanced company. Now, they started in 2009. That's a long time ago. And they spent already over $10 billion on developing technology. In total, for example, in Silicon Valley, we have today 66 companies that have a test license from the California Department of Motor Vehicle to operate and test autonomous vehicles on all public roads. These are about 800 cars. There are about 28 other states in the United States that have also such regulations. So we overall across the US, we have about 1,400 cars as of today. So in Silicon Valley, most of them drive around. So I see them all the time. I see those different companies. Some of them raised billions. You may have seen Amazon buying Zoox for $1.2 billion doing that. We see trucks, autonomous trucks. We see autonomous robots, delivery robots on the streets or on the sidewalks doing that. So we have the whole range. I now even saw an autonomous e-scooter. So imagine one of these electric scooters that you see in the cities all over Europe, driving around, and now suddenly it's driving around by itself, driving to a charging station or getting to a place where it's not in the way of people. These are the things that we're seeing at the moment. Now, it's very expensive to develop this technology. There is a lot of these sensors there, and the industry is all scrambling to go down with the prices and create the software and this artificial intelligence and the neural networks. And we are already pretty far with that. So Waymo, the Google company, is already driving without drivers. That means completely driverless on roads in Arizona and in Silicon Valley. All the other companies are still required to have a safety driver sitting behind the wheel, just in case there's an emergency or some situation that the computer does not know how to handle, to interfere and make the car safe. We see really surprising feats that this thing can do. Like Waymo cars have been spotted in school zones with kindergartners and third graders crossing the street and being basically the car just stopping 1 meter, 2 meters from them. That gives you already a signal of how far they are, because they may have to be very confident in allowing such a vehicle, such a technology onto such a vulnerable community. Now, why are we doing autonomous cars? Every year, about 10 million people get injured worldwide in car accidents, in collisions. About 1 million people die every year. So that's of course a high toll for our freedom and for our transportation needs. 94% of these accidents are actually human caused. Not the technology that failed, but the human failed. The human may be tired, maybe distracted, maybe having road rage, basically being angry about somebody. A person may be under DUI, that means drunk or under drug influence. It may be overestimating the capabilities, the driving skills, or underestimating the road conditions because of weather. So 94% of those are happening due to human error. Now imagine an autonomous car is 80-90% safer than that. We would dramatically reduce collisions and injuries and fatalities on the roads, and also the damage and the chaos that we wreak with that thing. That means insurance rates may be falling. Yeah? That also means that we may maybe need fewer cars on the streets. Today, we have often in civilized countries about half 50% of the population own a car. So in Germany, it's about almost 50 million cars among 80 million or 90 million inhabitants. Now, with simulations, we understand that we need probably about 10 to 30% of the cars that we have today. So that means fewer cars to insure. These cars make much fewer accidents. They're driving more. They are driving then probably between 8 to 12 hours a day, but they're not parked 23 hours and 22 minutes like they're today, for example, in Europe on average. They drive only 38 minutes a day on average, such a car. So that means suddenly your business here evaporates, because these cars may not be owned by private persons. So I may not own a car anymore, but I may be using that from a robotaxi fleet, such as, I don't know, an autonomous Uber or an autonomous Waymo, and just call them with my app. And even those, if the accident rates are so low and the number of cars are so low, those companies may not even come anymore to your business to ensure that. So if today we have across the industry 47% of all premiums are based on car premiums, that's your business, that would mean in the next 10 to 15 years, and we are close to that, the last driver's license holder means this person is already born, so in the next 10 to 15 years it will be forbidden to drive manual cars on the streets. So that means we may have only fleets of self-driving cars on the street, and there's your business gone. 47% of your business is just evaporated. And because car premiums are also part of allow you to get to customers, to clients, to sell them more insurances, life insurance and household insurance, other types of insurance, you may not have the foot in the door anymore to reach those customers. Here goes your business. Everything changes there, and there may be completely new players like Tesla Insurance being there. So if you want to understand of what's coming at you, I gave you some information. You may take them however you want that, but do not just wipe them away and say, it's never coming, it takes at least 20 years, it will never happen. Look at other industries where this happened, like Kodak, owning 90% of the market with an 80% margin on that thing. They're gone, they're bankrupt. A Blockbuster, a video rental store, gone. So this can happen to you too. Now is the time for you to look how the future can develop. What are the technologies that are coming that may disrupt you? And how could you react? What's your future business to that? So I already showed you my books. Der letzte Führerschein Neuling ist bereits geboren, and the last driver's license holder has already been born. I describe those scenarios so you get a much better grip on where the state of the technology is. And you may also want to be interested in a workshop on foresight mindset. Foresight mindset is basically looking into the future, trying to understand what could happen, how the world could unravel, and then make better decisions for today. That was my take on the Silicon Valley, how developments here in Silicon Valley may influence your very industry in the next years. And I hope you make the right decisions and become interested, because this is not just a risk, it is also chances, new chances that are opening for you. So I hope you enjoy your conference. Thank you for having me.